Welcome to another edition of the ever so popular and ever so present Let's Play series, Let's Play TNA 2016. We are back with another episode, and we are moving another step closer to the next one night only show in actually 1 week's time. In a little over a week's time, on pay-per-view, it will be TNA One Night Only, Champion versus Champion. Because thus far, the only match announced for Champion versus Champion is the GHC Tag Team Champions. The Killer Elite Squad, Lance Hoyt and Harry Smith, will go head-to-head with the TNA World Tag Team Champions, the American Wolves. And as I make the second pre-show match of the night, or maybe it might be more official to say the first pre-show match of the night. Well, actually, no, this would go in as the second, yeah. Sorry. As of right now, there are only two matches confirmed for the pay-per-view, and that is the triple threat match between Velvet Sky, Gail Kim, and Taryn Terrell, and the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Wolves versus the Killer Elite Squad, the Tag Team Champions of Pro Wrestling Noah. But more matches will be announced tonight, or you may be able to see signs of what you will be able to see in 1 week's time live on pay-per-view. So without further delay, let's jump right into this week's episode of Impact Wrestling. So we kick off the pre-show with Rocky Santiago going up against Ross Von Erich, and Rocky Santiago is victorious in what the game called an abysmal match, but compared to what they both got in ring, a 22 and a 27, I wouldn't say it's abysmal. I would say it's more right around what they should be getting. But how do you expect me to, get the guy over if I don't give him an opportunity? Now we move to the second of two pre-show matches, and it's Brent Albright versus Brian Kendrick. The reason why Brian Kendrick's on the pre-show instead of the actual show is because I want to hold off his debut on the actual show for a couple weeks, because he just signed. But Brent Albright, either way, gets the victory via crowbar, which I believe is an arm... let me think for a second. I believe it's his Fujiwara armbar, which is basically a half Rings of Saturn. It's when you take the guy down, sort of like going for the crossface, but instead you just put him in a submission. An armbar. Now, to kick off the show, we see a limo pull up backstage, and Dixie Carter, the president of TNA, ascends from the limo as she has arrived at the Alexander Field here in Indianapolis. Now we move to the opening match of the night as Gail Kim faces Brooke, and Gail Kim does exactly what I thought she would do, and that's get a pretty good match out of Brooke. The best match Brooke has had thus far this year. And Gail shows exactly why her, Taryn Terrell, are the two number one contenders, or the two top contenders for the TNA Knockouts title come Champion versus Champion. Now we move forward as Jeremy Borash caught up with Dixie Carter, and Dixie Carter says that she is done coming out here and making it about herself. Dixie actually comes out on the rampway, and JB's interviewing her on the entrance ramp, and she comes out and says, "I'm done making this about me, because this isn't about me." the last time I was here, I was told by the face of this company to stop making it about me. I was told by the face of this company some good advice, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, because since I walked away, I've been looking for somebody to replace me on the air as the authority figure or the matchmaker. And that's exactly what I've done. And you, each and every one of you, will find out the new authority figure for TNA in a couple of weeks. But that's not my only order of business tonight, as my other order of business is, first of all, to announce that the main event tonight will be a 15-man over-the-top rope battle royal to crown the number one contender to face Kurt Angle in 1 week's time on pay-per-view for the TNA World Heavyweight title at TNA One Night Only. Second, my last order of business is that last week on this program, Tyrus attacked Mr. Anderson and declared effectively that he wants a shot at the TNA Heritage title. But Tyrus, that's not how things are done here in TNA. You have to earn the opportunity. You can't demand an opportunity. And therefore, I am making a number one contender triple threat match for later tonight between Tyrus, Micah, and Jesse Goddards, after Jesse and Micah earned their victories, or have had consecutive victories for the last couple of weeks on TNA Explosion. So I'm giving them a reward and putting them in this number one contender triple threat match, and the winner will go on to One Night Only in 1 week's time to face, in about a week and a half, to face Mr. Anderson for the TNA Heritage title. Some big announcements by Dixie Carter as I will get to the number one contender match when it comes up on your screen, but a 15-man battle royal to determine the number one contender to face Kurt Angle at One Night Only in about a week and a half. Now that's a big announcement. But the next match is Homicide against Chris Melendez, and Homicide is victorious against Melendez in what the game calls a poor match, but I call an average one. Me and the game seem to be disagreeing today. The last time I was disagreeing with the game, it, corrupted the show and turned it off, and we had to redo the show. So, yeah, I don't want that to happen again. So I'm gonna stop critiquing or disagreeing with the game. Either way, let's get to the next segment. The next segment has Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy first talking about, together in their locker room, talking about the 15-man battle royal later tonight, and how both men want the victory to face Angle for the world title. And then Bobby Roode and James Storm walk in and basically just tell the Hardys that we got your back if you got ours against the New Blood. And Jeff and Matt both shake their heads and agree to watch each other's back against EC3, Bram, Eric Young, and Rob Echoes, who all four men are also in the 15-man battle royal later tonight. But that's beside the point, because Mr. Anderson now comes down to ringside for commentary, to do commentary for the next match, as the next match is the number one contender match for the TNA Heritage title, as Jesse Goddards gets the victory after Anderson distracts Tyrus and the ref, allowing DJZ to interfere and knock down Micah to to get Jesse Goddard's the victory in this one. But this isn't the end of the tension between Anderson and Tyrus, as both men have a heated confrontation following the match, because Anderson is proud of himself for costing Tyrus the match, but Tyrus is pissed off. So now after the break, we come back, and EC3's in the ring with a blackboard, and on the blackboard it says history lessons with EC3, and EC3 takes the mic and says, "Welcome to History Lessons with me, Ethan Carter III. And I can tell you this, that this is going to be the best segment you've seen on TNA Impact in a very long time, because I'm in it." Over the last couple of weeks, me and a couple friends of mine have been venting our frustration with the veterans of TNA, and the fact that people in this company seem to be proud of a legacy that this company has. Well, think about this legacy. I've beaten Matt Hardy. I've beaten Kurt Angle. I've beaten veteran after veteran after veteran in this company. If they want to be proud of a legacy, they should be proud of my legacy. Because I've done so much more. I've done more in my time in TNA than anyone else in the history of this company. And yet, I am not on top. And yet, you idiots think that Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, and his brother, or Bobby Roode, or James Storm, or any other returning or debuting veteran should be on top in this company because a homegrown star can't lead the pack. You don't believe me? Just ask Samoa Joe. Just ask AJ Styles. Just ask any other homegrown TNA star if they ever led this company, and the resounding answer will be no. Well, when is it fair for a homegrown star to stand up and say, enough is enough? Because this company has been investing in outside talent for the last 14 years almost, and look where that's gotten us. Look where that's gotten us. We're the joke of pro wrestling. We're the butt of everyone's jokes. We have more critics than a movie. We are sick and tired of hiding where we work. We're sick and tired of being the butt of everyone's jokes. We're done waiting to be given a spot. We will now take our spot. Jeff comes out and says, Ethan, that was a nice speech. But bro, you don't have to take us out. You want us to step aside, prove that TNA is better off with you than with us. And maybe we'll step aside. Jeff, I don't have to prove anything, because the proof is in the numbers. The proof is in the fan base. The proof is on social media every single week. The proof is that the fans around the world, these idiots, think this company is a joke. And it's not because of me, it's not because of Bram, it's not because of Rob Echoes, it's not because of Eric Young, it's because of people like you. It's because of people like you who come to this company and make it a joke. Who come to this company and make it look like that godforsaken company up in Greenwich, Connecticut, up in Stamford, Connecticut, instead of an alternative. And I will show you what I'm talking about tonight when we are both in that battle royal to crown the #1 contender to face Angle, when I send you flying over the top rope to the floor and take your opportunity away again. There we go. Now we move ahead to the next match, and it is the tag team of Jazz Benjamin, or Acid Jazz, and Bryce Benjamin against Zero Gravity. And Zero Gravity come up short against Benjamin and Jazz, as Benjamin and Jazz secure their first win here in TNA Wrestling. And now we move forward as DJZ comes out and is continuing his rivalry with Tigre Uno, as he comes out and declares that if Tigre Uno can bother you people by coming out here and attempting to issue open challenges on a weekly basis and ducking the challenges that he has right here in this company, then why can't I do the exact same thing? So, challenger, whoever wants to be the one who gets quickly dispatched by DJZ, come on out here and let's get this over with. So, Nick Primo is the one who accepts DJZ's challenge, and DJZ pretty easily defeats Nick Primo, and then grabs the microphone after the match and once again attacks Tigre Uno by saying, "Tigre, you might be the unbeaten champion, but I did what you do better than you, because Tigre, when you beat me, it was a fluke. And other than that one match we've had, you've been ducking challengers from TNA and only versing people like the man I just beat. So how about in a week and a half on pay-per-view at Champion versus Champion, you give me my rightful opportunity to become TNA X Division Champion once again." Now we head backstage as Dixie Carter is seen walking backstage, and she meets up with Kurt Angle, and Kurt tells Dixie, "Dixie, I'm happy that you took my advice. I'm happy that you did not make it about you. And I'm happy you're handing over some control of the company to somebody who isn't as emotionally attached as you are. I'm happy, and I'm glad I am your world champion, and I'm still representing TNA. Now we head back to the ring after a somewhat tense back and forth between Dixie Carter and Kurt Angle, as we head to the ring and we find out that there are 2 matches. And with the fact that there were 2 open spots in the Battle Royal, I chose to make 2 matches for the final spots. Now we head backstage as JB is standing by with Mr. Anderson. Sorry, I had a hang now. And JB asks Anderson about his actions earlier tonight in the number 1 contender match I apologize. JB asks Anderson about his actions against Tyrus earlier tonight during the number 1 contender triple threat match, and all Anderson says is, "It ain't over between me and Tyrus. I just wanted to make things a little bit more interesting than just a cut and dry, back and forth little thing that maybe you normally see. This just means me and Tyrus aren't versing at the next pay-per-view. That doesn't mean you won't see Anderson versus Tyrus for this title," as he holds up the Heritage title, "in the near future. I can promise you that you will." Now we head to the second of 2, I guess you could call them qualifying matches for the Battle Royal, as Abyss goes against Jason Paul in a match that was a lot better ratings-wise than Mark Andrews versus Mahanabil Sira. But Abyss advances into the Battle Royal. And now we head backstage as the Prodigy is seemingly now trying his hand. After a successful debut, he's now trying his hand at acting, and Madison Rayne basically tells him, "Don't quit your day job. You ain't born to do this." The Prodigy just looks a little dumbfounded that somebody actually didn't agree with him being born to do everything that he sets his mind to. And now we move forward, and it is the main event. It is the Battle Royal to determine who will face Kurt Angle at one night only, crowning a champion, and that is the man not loyal to the new blood, the man not loyal to the veterans. Lashley is the man that will go to one night only and face Kurt Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight title. So that means Lashley, Angle in 1 week for the world title on pay-per-view. That's going to be quite a contest as the 2 face off at the end of the show. Though we did not meet our demand for the knockouts on the show, I will say we did have a really good show, as we increased our popularity in 27 regions, and our final rating was a 62, as things continue to, as my direction continues to succeed here in TNA, and things continue to improve every week. As every week goes by here in TNA Wrestling, as we finish another successful episode of Impact. And what I want to know from you is, what was your favorite part of the show, least favorite part of the show, and what would you have done differently if you were me? Let me know that and any other feedback you may have down in the comment section, because as always, feedback is more than welcomed and appreciated. And if you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.